For those who recall once booming industries that used to thrive, I'm talking about the 70s, even in the early 90s, but over time they faded away. It's been a reckoning with committed efforts to establish Nigeria as a powerful force in African manufacturing again. Yes, the industrial revolution in the country is on trail, as the nation is set to finalize a new national industry to boost local manufacturing, reduce import dependence, and diversify the economy by focusing on value chains in key sectors like automotive, agro-processing, pharmaceuticals, and other areas. Now, this policy aims to provide stable guidance, improve infrastructure, and secure long-term financing while putting emphasis on human capital development through the first ever National Industrial Manpower Development Policy to create a skilled workforce that is sustainable and inclusive. The goal is to unlock the full potential of the nation's industries, scale up MSMEs, and harness resources to propel growth as the nation envisages a $1 trillion economy. Tonight, we explore the prospects, challenges, and what the success could mean for Nigeria's industrial revival as we put the spotlight on the $1 trillion leap, rebuilding Nigeria's industrial backbone. Our guest is Mr. Ifeanyi Chris Oputa. He's the Director General, Nigerian Association of Small-Scale Industrialists, and he will be joining us from our Lagos studio. In the meantime, thank you for joining us. This is Weekend File. I'm Ruth Aguwele. Now, before we delve into, industrial exploration business, let's begin with the news. The federal government is implementing reforms that are already repositioning Nigeria as a hub for innovation, private sector growth, and international confidence. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, stated this at the renewed Global Dialogue in London. From Pine reports.
The event, with the theme Strengthening Global Partnerships, Economic Renewal, and National gather leaders, investors, and experts to discuss collaborative pathways for Nigeria's economic growth and global reputation, aligning with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. The federal government's intention is focused on economy, attracting investment and improving national perception. Information and National Orientation Minister Mohammed Idris highlighted the impact of President Tinubu's administration on Nigerians. Idris said the government has evolved the ease of doing business to attract foreign direct investment, as well as making Nigeria the investors' hub on the continent of Africa. With the country out of the grey list, the world is seeing Nigeria as an emerging economy and nation. In Abuja, Frama Panyi, NTA News.
In other news, the Nigeria Governors Forum congratulates President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Nigerians on the country's removal from the Special Action Task Force grey list, sent by the NGF Chairman and Governor of Kwara State. Describes the milestone as a testament to President Tinubu's visionary leadership and transparency. The NGF notes that the exit from the grey list restores confidence in the country's financial system and strengthens the foundation for inclusive growth, responsible governance, and sustainable development across all tiers of government. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, congratulates President Bola Tinubu for his role in the emergence of Nigeria's Shebila, Managing Director of LNG, new Secretary General of the Gas Exporting Countries Forum, describing it as a historic moment for Nigeria. And Shebila, who was elected the 27th meeting held in Doha, Qatar, succeeds Algeria's Mohamed Hamil as the fifth tribe of the global nation. The group executive officer seated Bashir Bayo Ojulari. NNPC Limited is proud of and Shebila has achieved at LNG, where he has wirelessly from Nigeria Nigeria's reserves, export grade G, PG, and conducts serving domestic needs and global markets in the process. The NNPCL-GC also congratulates the state for resources gas. ECBO on his emergence as president in 2020 ECF meeting, the minister has been at the forefront of championing efforts to harness Nigeria's abundant gas resources for industrialization and development. The GECF is an international intergovernmental organization, the platform for the exchange of experience and information among its member countries. Nigeria's lady Oluremi Tinubu celebrates former lady Patience Jonathan with this occasion of her congratulatory message. The First Lady joined former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, the children, grandchildren, family, and loved ones of Dame Patience to be with her on the occasion, praying to God to grant her many years in the divine strength, joy, and peace. Oluremi Tinubu has inaugurated a digital learning center in Sanya government area aimed at promoting digital leadership and inclusion in Nigeria, especially now the initiative under the Renewed Hope initiative is in partnership with the National Information and Technology Development Agency, NITDA, which is part of a nation effort to establish such secretary.
The Nyawa Digital Center is one of 10 established across the country to expand access to technology-driven learning opportunities. The initiative aligns with the government's broader agenda to promote digital inclusion and build a knowledge-based economy. These centers will serve as hubs for entrepreneurship development and digital innovation, enabling beneficiaries to harness technology for personal and community advancement. The virtual ceremony was attended by the wife of Kano State Governor Kabir and other who commended the First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu's commitment to empowering women and youth.
This ICT to empower the Nigerians with the skills and knowledge they need to succeed in the digital age.
That this building the digital center with life and used according to her instructions.
Speakers emphasized the importance of digital education, development, noting the access to technology, key to empowering and reducing unemployment. In Kano, Awwal Salisu, NTA News.
The presidential initiative on healthcare value chain and the health section of Nigeria have taken significant steps towards the local manufacturing in Nigeria. Now, the two organizations signed the memorandum of understanding in lining operation in key areas such as advocacy, investment mobilization, and development.
Under this collapse MOU is 5 areas, policy areas that we can for and with other stakeholders, so that we can continue to build the sector. Second of the EU is HFN today, mobilizing additional resources in investment. Sometimes when foreign work with the mandate of PVAC is to identify various areas along the healthcare value chain that work together with HFN to unlock.
All these different discussions, and how do we get that? So that's one area we will be working together. And then policy is so key. So there's a lot of work to be done.
Deep aligns with Nigeria's goal of increasing its pharmaceutical market share in Africa to 15% by 2030 and meet minimum of 60% of its domestic demand through local manufacturing. The Emir of Fufore in Adamawa State, Alhaji Muhammadu Sani Amadu Ribai, inaugurated its council of the Emirate with a call on them to bring the wealth of the development of the Emirate and Adamawa State as a whole. Bilkis Abubakar reports that the inauguration signals the full commencement of activities in the new Emirate.
It was indeed a moment of joy to Fufore Emirate and the entire people of the chiefdom, as the inauguration of the maiden council members paved the way for the smooth implementation of the decisions and policies of the Emirate Council. Nigeria, Abubakar Boboy Jijiwa is now the Waziri for former Governor of Asset, Bello Muhammad Aswaki, Yahya Saidu, Joel Haman Joaki, Sakimi, and Halilu Hamawa Malabu Makama, among others. Muhammad together towards promoting peace, unity, and progress, as well as ensuring justice in protecting the interests of the chiefdom.
I believe we are poised to give the best service in terms of advisory services to His Royal Highness the Emir of Fufore, and also to make sure that we assist him in the administration of the Emirates to the best of our ability.
Various fields, and I'm happy that this is one of the best Emirate Council members that has been inaugurated, and all of us will contribute heavily to the development of the Emirate.
The inauguration of 16 council members, marking the first set of leaders of newly established Fufore Emirate, who are expected to work together in strengthening communication, preserving development to the Emirate. In Yola, Bilkisu Abubakar, NTN News.
The Institute of Negotiators, Community and Development Experts had 6 sessions set to take leading roles at the national and sub-national levels. Ayo Deji Makinde reports that the induction, which held in Abuja, centered on the new role of negotiators in the global digital economy.
From diverse sectors, participants converged on the capital city for a 3-day intensive training designed to groom and expert development. Executive Secretary of the Institute of Negotiators, Community and Social Development Experts, Kunle Yusuf, reaffirmed the Institute's commitment to strengthening capacity programs with the Sustainable Development Goals.
A part of the regulation for any institute of this caliber is to have a working relationship and global partnership.
You will engage communities, mediate between governments and the governed, just like I did, and craft that put inclusion.
I commend Inclusive Leadership for providing a platform that equips people to drive peace, inclusion, and transformation.
Guest speaker and executive director of news at the NTA, Ayo Adewuyi, emphasized that effective negotiation remains vital for peace building, social harmony, and national development.
No community can achieve sustainable development in an atmosphere of tension or mistrust. Negotiation provides the framework for resolving disputes, allocating resources fairly, and ensuring that decisions reflect collective priorities.
41 fellows, 13 members were inducted. In Abuja, Ayodeji Makinde.
In other news, Court Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps Shehu Mohammed says the Corps will continue to sustain its 24 hours driver's license production across the country while urging Nigerians who are yet to get their driver's licenses to go to their centers of application for immediate collection. This statement becomes evident during a visit to the Lagos State Mini Print Farm to reveal activities there. Let's hear from Oyemi Ajayi.
Printing issuance of licenses by the Federal Road Safety Corps. Driver's license collection at the Corps offices nationwide have experienced an avalanche of people who have come to the valid documents. A visit to the Lagos State Command of the Corps revealed stop activity with attendance to people on a daily basis. Mrs. Motelia renewal of a driver's license. She explains her experience at the center, describing it as seamless.
The process is okay. Give the reference.
Just like Mrs. Moteliola, Calvin Chinedu has as well come for his renewal, and he talked about what happened and how long he had stayed.
I came this morning and they organized, we even had lecture this morning about sign and pattern of driving, but it's okay. I'm just about to do my capturing.
The Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Sheikh Mohammed, directed a 24-hour operation in all driver's license centers with a target by continuous production of driver's license. Mini Print Farm in Lagos State, 15,000 cards produced daily, and within 2 weeks, over 100,000 produced, aside 1,850 licenses produced per hour. For now, about 51,257 licenses are unclaimed across the 25 centers in the states, a source of concern to the Corps.
Production from the input of the machine to the output takes less than 20 seconds for a car to be out. So it means produce over 1,000.
For the out of the Corps, especially at first lumbering, all remain on deck, operating shifts to ensure all targets are met, and the machines active 2 hours. And for the people, no more doubt, the Corps say, actually, their driver's license are waiting to be collected. From Lagos, Yemi Ajayi, NTA News.
A leap there, you will say, and how does Nigeria intend to build industrial ban? That's the focus of our conversation after the break.
In the heart of Owerri, business never sleeps. From sunrise to sundown, the wheels keep turning. And behind the scenes, vision meets action. Governor Hope Uzodima's leadership has turned manifestos into reality, transformations that feels like a miracle. But progress needs peace, and in Imo, it's not left to chance. From land to sky to river deep, guardians protecting dreams and opportunity. At Orashi's quiet shore, hydropower is rising, set to energize a growing economy. The church is new roads emerge, industry hums, communities come alive. At the center, a digital revolution. Million young minds trained each year to build the future. As Orashi rises, so does Imo and the hopes of a hard-working people. A new Imo is on the rise.
The Forum of Former Deputy Governors of Nigeria, FFDGN, announces our 4th National Conference, holding as follows. Date, Tuesday, Wednesday, 29 October 2025. Time, 9 a.m. daily. Venue, Ladikwali Conference Center, Abuja Continental Hotel, Abuja, Nigeria. Theme, boosting Nigeria's productive capacity for national growth and self-reliance. The role of leadership, industry, and innovation in policy implementation. Under the chairmanship of His Excellency, Senator Anyim Pius Anyim, GCON, and His Excellency, Senator Aliyu Wamako, CON. Special features include the 3rd edition of Nation Words. Announces His Excellency Chris Akomas, PhD, FNIM, National Chairman. His Excellency Mokhtar Shehu Shagari, Deputy National Chairman, North. His Excellency Barrister Sarumi, Deputy Chairman. Attendance is strictly by invitation.
FFDGN, united we stand.
No buy am. But why?
still your favorite authentic Big Bull 50K and 25K. Now, with fixed seal tape is to ensure you get the premium product from Big Bull Rice. Do not buy if the holographic seal tape is not on the bag or is broken. Big Bull Rice. Tasty rice nourished you.
Keystone Mega Million giveaway. Yeah, yeah. Cash is calling, cash is calling. Keep on winning, keep on winning. More, win more. Yeah, yeah. Million 20.
From now to December 31st, 2025, you could be one of the 565 lucky winners of the Gold Mega Milli giveaway. Simply carry out 10 transactions or more on any Keystone Bag channel for weekly cash wins, or save 10,000 naira or more to qualify for the mega draw where millionaires are made. No, download the mobile app from your app store and open one today for your share of millions. T's and C's apply. Keystone Bank, we grow together.
Give more strength to your hair with Mega Growth Leave-In Strengthener. It's infused with nourishing oils and conditioning, so you get a good hair break. Wow! Mega Growth Leave-In Strengthener.
The world needs moms. With a splash of Golden Terra oil, a mom can transform a frown into a smile. Change no thanks into yes please. Resolve family feuds without blowing a whistle. Providing tasty is all that matters. Where there are moms, there is love. Terra oil.
And the National Activity of Merit Award goes to the only paste manufacturer to win the National Productivity Order of Merit Award by the Federal Government of Nigeria, endorsed by the Association of Private Medical Practitioners of Nigeria. This is an evidence of 100% natural goodness. Eat healthy to live longer. Buy now and enjoy up to 20% discount.
Thank you for staying tuned. I've walked through Ariaria Market. I'm talking about where you get to see made in Aba products, and you get thousands of artisans turning lights, fabric scraps, local designs into finished shoes, bags, and you may be having some in your closet. Well, Ikechukwu Ndukwe reports.
Aba, city of craft and commerce, from the tailoring shops to those of shoemakers. Markets are where ideas become goods, big livelihood. The low capital high level, ideal for rapid job creation. Nigerian government's 2030 1 trillion economy is realizable with proper investments in the Aba leather and the fashion exports, which can generate at least $1 billion annually.
African fashion style is something that is acceptable all over the world because Africans are everywhere in the world. So we have clients.
They make, you see some shoes, they say Korea currently imprinting in their soles made in Aba. That is sold in the UK market. That is sold in US market.
Once I chose myself as a designer for people normally use me, which means if government can in this sector helps buy machinery or subsidize the price of machinery, I think it will go a long way to revitalize business, the economy, and minimize the upsurge of insecurity.
Aba and cluster were shift 30 to 50% of the current or flows into finished export rates through like the Aba growth. The study of fashion and technology in institutions of higher learnings in order to maintain its lead in the leather and fashion clusters in Aba. Ikechukwu Ndukwe, NTA News.
Once the heartbeat of northern Nigeria's economy, Kano's industrial sector is now a shadow of its former self, with more than 400 factories reported to have shut in 2019. In Bompai industrial area, Aminu Umar reports that the few remaining industries are still fighting to stay afloat, offering a glimpse into the challenge of revival.
In the 1990s, Kano were a major driver of Nigeria's economy, creating thousands of jobs and fostering social unity through a diverse workforce. Today, the story is different, as more than 400 industries have reportedly shut down since 2019, weighed down by a range of challenges.
You see, the devaluation of the currency made it impossible to modernize fully. Non-implementation of government policies holistically. Revival takes it whole, not parts. That's the mistake in the case of textile.
By industry, one type of activity of decline. Only a few factories remain in operation, many running far below capacity.
The last batch, I had to go to Lagos to go and meet the shipping line. And what was the problem? They said the custom porter, it was for over a month. We could not do anything, and we were paying them wage to the shipping line. So this impacted so much. You can imagine when we paid over 50 million on demurrage alone.
So it is very important government to engage the private sector and the subnational government, so that support from the state government will be defined, support coming from the federal government will be defined, and how the whole things will be coordinated to recognize the individual peculiarities of the locations.
If one factory, not that big, can provide 150 jobs, imagine the impact if all the industries in Bompai and across Kano were back in full operation. It could be a game changer for the state and the nation. In Kano, Aminu Umar, NTA News.
All right, let's bring in our guests to begin the conversation on rebuilding Nigeria's industrial backbone. He joins us from our Lagos Network studio, the Director General of the Nigerian Association of Small Industrialists, Mr. Ifeanyi Oputa. Thank you very much for us, Mr. Oputa. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Oputa.
Glad to be here.
I'm very sure you can hear me. The prospect, talking about one just to the issue. The prospect, talking about one just industrial policy that the federal government is set to finalize. What is the pace for Nigeria presently? Policy that the federal government is set to finalize. What is the pace for Nigeria? Mr. Oputa, did you hear my question? Okay, I should take it again. Okay, I'm talking about the trajectory for Nigeria's industrial revolution. I want you to speak to the pace of... okay, I'm talking about the trajectory for Nigeria's industrial revolution. I want you to speak to the pace. Okay, I'm talking about the trajectory for Nigeria's industrial revolution. To speak to the pace of... okay, I'm talking about the trajectory for Nigeria's industrial revolution. I want you to speak to the pace of... okay, I'm talking about the... we seem to be having challenges there getting our guests to connect with us.
You mentioned the fourth Nigerian Industrial Revolution, speaking to the pains of the MSMEs, is that correct? Or is it...
To the MSMEs part, I know there are challenges, but when we look at ways of this, how this industrial life, we know there's a new policy that has been at the final stage that the federal government is looking at. So I wanted to speak to that. that has been at a final stage that the federal government is looking at. So I want to speak.
Well, the government launched is about the fourth revolution. Of course, there have been several efforts at industrial revolutions in the past, but this is a bit different because I know that under the tutelage of the Honorable Minister of Industry, Mr. John Eno, we've engaged us robustly, all members of the organized private sector, NASI inclusive. We've held various sessions. We've also engaged in the preparation of this very policy. And that's a far cry from the past where a lot of lip service was paid in the past. But this is really an engaged effort, and I believe that once implemented, it's a great difference.
Mr. Oputa, a great deal you say, but now look at the aspect, of a dream of the challenges which has been mentioned. I'm talking about infrastructure. The federal clearly stated that this new policy, will be looking at government and both the private sector to make it become a reality. You are speaking from the private sector angle, so how do they make this a reality? You are speaking from the private sector angle, so how do they make this a reality?
As you could expect, no industrial policy will succeed without carrying the private sector along. And in times past, Nigeria hasn't taken the MSMEs seriously, but these are the main driver of the economy. We're talking about 90% jobs, and our economy is driven by the MSMEs. So in this very effort, we've spoken about the core things that affect MSMEs, one of them being that MSMEs are providing their own infrastructure nationwide. And that means when talking about infrastructure, both those who are in production or services, from power to water to the whole range of infrastructure which businesses need to operate, are being self-financed. So in this policy, to that, if our people are creating their own infrastructure and also getting money, because the bottom line is the funds which MSMEs spend on their businesses, a lot of this gulped up by providing self-infrastructure. And so little is left for them to actually invest in the proper business they're doing. So this is a very big challenge. And we address this in our conversations on different ways, especially ways where we had like 4 or 5 different headers. One of them was skills acquisition for both industry and for MSMEs. We talk about power and infrastructure. We went into education, went into finance, the key one being finance, okay? And then markets and trade. Now, in the financial sector, one of the things we've talked about is the fact that Nigerian MSMEs are receiving money presently at triple-digit interest rates, not double-digit. And we're looking at how does the government engage with us in such a way that MSMEs are brought actively into the financial sector. Now, if we don't include the MSMEs, and if we continue to say that we're funding the economy, what we're doing is essentially not running a proper capitalist economy. There's a variation of a capitalist economy. So how do we now explore the economy so the MSMEs can take the economy? Only be possible if we actively engage and the capabilities of the MSMEs. So that's what we have to do, and that's what we're planning to do right now.
Yeah, and that requires a lot of investment, of course, especially in the aspect of addressing the bottlenecks that you mentioned. We'll pick up with the conversation. Let's take a break. Of course, especially in the aspect of addressing the
Mega Growth Leaving Strength. It's infused with and conditioning proteins. Mega Growth Leaving Strengthener.
furniture. From my wardrobe to my bed, LifeMade Furniture's whole house customization designs every piece to perfection. Port Harcourt, Abuja, Ibadan, and Kano, there's LifeMade Furniture.
House Station, furniture projects. Call 081 2006 or visit elifemade.com. LifeMade, your life made forever.
My mama no love. Food the way sweet na money kill and plus everything combined oh. Ogbonge gist arrive oh. She tell me say na Devon King so ya all she dey use fry oh. Yeah. Now why the jollof it dey sweet like this? The chicken it dey crisp like this. Fry the plantain.
Introducing the new Devon King's soya vegetable oil. Available store near you.
Delicate peace when we wait. Vibrant shower when we're late. Time-wise.
Lives are in your hands while you drive. Protect yourself and others on the road. Matters short on the network service of the NTA.
Tax concessions, and of course the area itself has a lot of facilities nearness to ports lately, and very soon an airport will be nearby, and of course nearness to markets. Lagos is one of the largest markets in sub-Saharan Africa.
This zone is still a project, it's an ongoing project. It's a project in the don't forget the Dangote refinery and petrochemical industries is part of a project zone, and we all know, the kind of a contributing effect the petroleum industry has in the petroleum sector of this country.
Outside these industrial enclaves, many factories across Lagos still battle high production costs, unreliable power supply, and logistics bottlenecks, factors that raise the cost of doing business. Meanwhile, the inflationary impact of subsidy removal and exchange rate reforms has also put pressure on manufacturers.
Build the underpinning enablers, the communication systems, the power supply, and support it with educational care for the people of Nigeria. We believe the economy will be galvanized with a lot of people finding opportunity to employ or even creation of businesses that will drive the growth of Nigeria far beyond the 1 trillion mark that has proposed.
Despite these headwinds, economists say Lagos remains the engine room of Nigeria. Policy meets industrial momentum. The state's expanding industrial base could determine how quickly the country turns its trillion-dollar dream into reality. In Lagos, Awol Yusuf Jibo, NTA News.
Apologize for the glitches being observed there. Of course, we know that job creation is one key aspect when industrial revolution happens. We'll pick up with the conversation. We have to take another break. To stay tuned.
Give more strength to your hair. Leave-in it's with nourishing oils and conditioning to hair breakage. Wow! Mega Growth Leave-in Strengthener.
My morning ritual starts here, surrounded by Life-Made furniture. From my wardrobe to my bed, Life-Made Furniture's whole house customization designs every piece to perfection. I love that in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, Ibadan, and Kano, there's Life-Made Furniture.
For a whole house customization and furniture projects, call 081 2000 6000 or visit elifemade.com. Life-Made, your life made forever.
Now why did you love it this sweet like this? Chicken in the crisp like this.
The new Devon King's soya vegetable oil, available in stores near you.
Food is ready.
Cook to impress.
My skin is my identity. Strength. It's unique and deserves care made specially for me. New Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care. With 5 oils and 5 vitamins. 48 nourishment. Help reduce appearance of in just 2 minutes. New Nivea.
Lovely meals you can cook with these ingredients. You have no guarantee of a meal. Not making a right choice seasoning cube can ruin your meal, money, and confidence. For a tasty meal, do not compromise. Choose Gold.
Use Terra Gold for the resistant for cubes and jollof. Terra Gold. Cube endless possibilities.
Give more strength to your hair with Growth Strengthener. It's with nourishing oils and conditioning proteins, so you can say goodbye to hair breakage. Wow.
TerraCube is available in beef, chicken, jollof, and crayfish flavors in 50 cubes Saver Pack and 100 cubes Super Saver Pack.
Unwrap joy, unleash taste.
Good, tasty beef is working for. Worried about your oil? Your favorite meal? Introducing Smart Balance. Smart Balance rice bran. Several studies suggest that gamma oryzanol may contribute to the reduction of bad cholesterol. Smart Balance oil. Good food, no worries.
You staying tuned. Mr. Oputa, I'm sure you saw the report from Lagos speaking to job creation. Let's look at the aspect, you know, that the nation can look at. If we're looking at this industrial trail, I'm talking about investment opportunities. How can we boost domestic industries and also attract, you know, foreign investment? Domestic industries and also attract, you know, foreign investment.
To go back a step and remind all of us about something, because every time we talk about Nigeria, we have people saying, oh, in the 70s and the 80s, there were factories in Kano, factories in Lagos, everything was moving well. What people tend to forget is that most of the industries established in the 60s and 70s were foreign. They were from the colonial times of Nigeria. Now, they were using, of course, raw materials produced in Nigeria to make things and export. It was a totally foreign-controlled. 76, the Nigerian, with the military government, when they had the policy about a nationalization policy, what we saw happening was a lot of these companies had to get Nigerian, and many of the companies did not really accept Nigerian ownership as per se, and they pulled out of Nigeria in a bit of a way. All of these businesses had Nigerian banks, especially at the time, were foreign-owned banks, so they had unlimited financial capital. The interest rates in Nigeria in 1976, prior to the indigenization, were 6% per annum on borrowing. They had an international economy operating at the same rates as the rest of the world. Now, the difficulty, after taking over these factories and these companies, we didn't have that many of our Nigerian entrepreneurs actually active in the industrial space. Very few. And also, we had a population of 50 million people, which was manageable at the time. Now, let's look beyond all what's going on in the period and say, okay, fast forward to 2025, we have 200+ million people. There's been very little investment by way of bringing industries back into our space, encouraging entrepreneurs in that area. And then we've said, okay, you know what? NASI has been speaking with the government about this issue of processing of products, of our raw materials in Nigeria. Simply by processing our raw materials, if we, like we've said, 30 is a minimum for start. Can you imagine what will happen once we start to actively process our raw materials for export, and even those that are being used locally, forcing companies which are presently importing our products to now produce locally? That creates an explosion of opportunities, and we that of investment. What about Nigerian investors? Because you see, when you talk about foreign investors, the next thing you see happening is they come into your country like they did in the 70s. Whatever they sell, they take all that. So there's people who are doing business in Nigeria, but taking all their profits out. And you have $billions going out. For a quick example, 2 telecom companies alone were reported to have taken out almost $10 billion in a year. $10 billion. And that money isn't, they don't generate income in dollars, they generate naira. So having to take out dollars means they have to exchange that money from wherever they can get it and take the money outside. So if we bring in all these foreign people money out, it's not that we're saying Nigeria doesn't want anybody, but the more we can get our local players to start investing, what it means is that all the money that is remains in our economy. Have capital flight, have a lot, hundreds of billions of dollars over the years going back to countries, and then we're stranded. It doesn't make any sense. So we prefer to have, whilst we encourage the community to bring their money in, yeah, but we want to see more Nigerians starting businesses, getting into the space. There's so much to do in the agricultural space, in the services, in the light manufacturing, especially when you have a refinery. for example, we've had 4 refineries. Each refinery is not the Nigerian, our local thinking is that a refinery is for petrol. But all the refineries we have.
Mr. I know you have a lot to say, but in summary now, you can hear me. In summary now, Mr. Oputa, I'd like you to just, summarize your final thoughts for us, especially in the aspect of harnessing human capital development, looking at skills acquisition for young people, MSMEs you mentioned, and also innovative skills. Looking at skills acquisition for young people, MSMEs you mentioned, and also innovative skills.
Once you're processing, to process stuff, you need to get people who know how to process stuff. You have to. So more and more MSMEs are going to start processing in Nigeria, processing things for export, processing for local production. You'll have an explosion of needs local for artisans, for work factories, so we start training people, training them up. They have direct employment, apprenticeship, employment immediately. So all the forward, we saw the light of this tunnel. We don't see why Nigeria will not at 1 trillion beyond. Nigerians will get invest in this economy. We have people to invest in Nigeria, not just. Thank you.
And I like the fact that you're actually pushing for industries to thrive. We go, and we have the skills, we have what it takes. Mr. If finds or put time on weekend. Thank you. If I increase or put her for your time on weekend file. Thank you. All right, let's take
the Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome in the operate IFOs which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC NBC hereby advises the public to refrain from unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investments. May verify the license of such schemes on websites. Report any suspicions of illicit financial activity. Call together the integrity of his financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
Thousands of job creation and medium enterprises, MSMEs, lashing behind the Renewed Hope agenda. What are these strategies? Renewed Hope that gave to thousands of job creation over the past 2 years under President Tinubu's from Tuesday Live, coming up on the 28th of 2024 about the strategy. Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Educative and incisive as ever. Join us.
To the knockout stage of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, which is ongoing in Morocco after a 4-0 victory over Samoa earlier this evening. Forward of the team, Queen Joseph struck twice, and then Shakira converted penalties, and Azizat Odunton sealed the win for the Flamingos. Earlier suffered defeat and France by 2-0 before this victory to stamp their tickets to the next round. All right, Rivers United have become the first side in 7 years. Well, that's quite to reach the CAF Champions League group stage after a 3-1 win over Madagascar's Black Bull. That was also this evening. Now, the pride of Rivers overturned a 1-0 first leg defeat to progress 3-2 in aggregate, a feat last achieved by Lobby Stars of Makudi in the 2018-2019 season. Meanwhile, Remo Stars field battle after a 5-1 loss to Mamelodi Sundowns in Ikene today. Elsewhere, the National inaugurated awards for various sports federations, urging them to consolidate on achievements and explore new frontiers of development. The inauguration follows the General Federation elections conducted by the Commission on Saturday, where 17 new sports federation boards emerged. The newly elected members joined other federations that had earlier held their elective congresses in taking the oath of office.
The first feeling is that we're beginning to see the dividends of the reforms that the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is putting in the sports sector.
I just feel more challenged to be able to now carry out more work for the Hockey Federation and sports in general.
The good thing about life is continuity. You don't retard. Dividend of good handball delivery is what we owe them.
The Shooting Federation appears to be a broken home. So my first priority will be to mend fences.
Of the English Premier League, where Sunderland pulled off a stunning comeback to beat Chelsea by 2-1 at Stamford Bridge in Saturday's early kickoff in a match that was beamed live on the NTA. Let's also tell you that Leeds edged past West Ham United by 2-1, and Manchester United beat Brighton 4-2. And with just some few minutes to the end of the game between Brentford and Liverpool, Brentford are currently leading by 3-2. And that's your sports. It's back to Ruth.
Many thanks, Ayodeji. Thank you for that. Tomorrow, actually, October 26th, is International Day of Visit a City. Somewhat, but quite a day. It's a day to think about the lives of those who are gone and the impact they had. And on this day, talking about tomorrow, people often visit the gravesites of friends and family, if possible, clean and redecorate the headstones of loved. It's just a way for us here to say that we care and we sympathize with you. And that's Weekend File. Do have a good night rest. I'm Ruth Aguilera.